it's more like I would like to have like discussion because we have some implementation, and I would like to get your opinion and how you usually implement. So basically, we use OpenSearch for retrieving some data. So we have like OpenSearch contains copies of our data from DynamoDB, and we use like indexing mapping to define some properties of the fields, how to basically retrieve them. Also, we keep OpenSearch in the Terraform, so it's like code infrastructure as a code. We have everything for our instances, and also we want to have indexes. Also, it's already implemented, so indexes is also part of the Terraform. And as we know that in case you want to update mapping for existing field, what you need to do is you need to create new index, re-index your data to new index, and after that you can use the index. So you cannot update in place if the field already exists. For this, we built some implementation at the top because we want to have index template as a part of the Terraform. So we keep all our index inside the Terraform. And when usually index template is updated, we run the script inside. We have custom Terraform module that contains Terraform code, Bash, and Python. And this moment when we update index template, we run Python code. We create a new index name with a random field. After that, we copy data. We switch alias, so to be sure that we always point to the correct index. On the top, we not query directly indexes, but alias that point to the index. So we update the alias, and we re-index data again to be sure that data is up to date. And I would like to know, in case of other implementation, who keeps and track indexes as part of infrastructure as a code, to decrease manual work, so you don't need always to update indexes manually, just to have automation.
You can raise your hands.
Or it's a good approach, who has question, or yeah.
So just to make sure I'm understanding, so you build a brand new index, you have your old index, and then you use aliases to swap between them?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's really a great approach, and one that I think everybody should be doing, because then when things go wrong, like, keep your old indexes around for a while so that you can bring them back really quick, especially if it takes a while to re-index from scratch or something like that. And so you don't, maybe you have slightly out-of-date data, but that's better than, in many cases, no data at all.
But how you usually build automation in case you need to re-index data?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, if your ingestion pipeline doesn't know that the target is 1, 2, or 3 indexes, then I think that's how I've sort of seen it. It's like a little bit of extra complexity to have your ETL pipeline be agnostic, not caring how many targets, but really valuable. I mean, I've seen plenty of people who will run like 2 clusters, one in one domain and one in another domain, and they're totally separate, and the indexing pipeline's feeding both of them independently. Just in case one goes down, you've got your hot swap to the other, right? So you could do that same thing with your live index and your backup indexes.
Thank you.
So I think I'm agreeing.
Yeah.
So that's a big yes. So I'm curious about the operational component. One of the sort of common patterns, especially in multi-tenant world, is to maintain either a cache or a database with a pointer to the current index. So that would be one alternative, or you could use it similarly. So how do you swap the aliases? Is it automated, or
So for each index, So basically, one table represents one index inside OpenSearch. And basically, for one index, we have one alias. We have some configuration where we can keep the all index alias. And basically, for querying, we get configuration to query the alias, that query the index. Additionally, alias can have write on index. So basically, we also, inside our ingestion, we also use alias, because every alias can write to one index, but can read with multiple from multiple indexes. Yeah.
Okay, and just one more, so to make sure I understand. So do you at any point pause, do you have continuous updates, or do you have one index and then
Yes,
you re-index the whole thing?
It's I have continuous. So when I copy the data the first time, I update the alias and started to point to the new index. And after that, I again do one update to be sure that I have all missing data. But continuous update I can only have from DynamoDB to OpenSearch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do something similar. I think you mentioned Terraform, but we do that at the application level, actually. So in the cases, for example, you have a new version of the model, and then you need to clone the index, but we're using a new model to process it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically, like you said, like there's some Python code in the application, in our case, that creates a new index, and then during indexing, it writes to both as an alias.
Mm-hmm.
But then when reading, it only reads from the live one, but you can also switch by the ID. Yeah, just wanted to share that we do kind of the same.
Yes.
I had a question about why you want a whole new index versus, let's say, just adding a field that's got it, adding a field to an existing index.
Because it's in that field is already exist. So it, yeah, sometimes it's very nice. It also is inside with Terraform. We had some cases when Terraform completely dropped our index. Because it's called from Terraform, and sometimes I'm not sure if it's like have place update in a place. So there was problem that inside settings was a bit different from what actually in OpenSearch and what actually we have in our Terraform. And at that point, it didn't do actual update in a place what is doing in OpenSearch instead of drop our index. So, and also sometimes we want to update already existing fields. And that's why we decided to have this implementation just to be sure that we are secure.
Is this because you want to possibly analyze the field in different ways?
Yeah.
So one thing that I've seen and done is just add more. Just keep adding to it. And it's basically versioning the fields.
Yeah.
I would have title V1, title V2, or whatever. Just something like that, where I would analyze it a certain way, add another field that's title analyzed, and then have the original field as bare bones as it was, and then just copy it over to these new fields.
Okay, understand. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just a comment on that, because we thought about something similar, but in our case, we really want to get rid of the old data. So for us, it's just easy to drop the index and to do the whole process to clean it up.
More questions? I think it was a nice discussion. Big applause. Thank you, Yuliia.